can you bank steps like calories as long as you average them out to 70,000 per week? What do you think, Mike?
So just to explain the concept, if you burn 2,500 calories a day and you want to lose body fat, you don't need to eat 2,000 calories exactly every single day for the week to lose 1 pound. You could eat 1,800 one day, 2,200 another day, 2,500 one day, 1,500 one day. If it averages out to 2,000, that's banking. You can have a few super low calorie days, weekend warrior, for example, Monday through Thursday, like in a more extreme deficit, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, closer to maintenance, fits your lifestyle better. What matters most is the weekly average, banking calories. Can you bank steps? I think that you can. I mean, are we talking about for the purposes of health? Here, I do bank steps because there are certain days where I decide to go on like a really long walk. I get 16,000 steps in one day. I get 18,000 steps in, whatever. And then the next day, I'm just not going to move as much. If I'm keeping nutrition pretty consistent, I don't have as much energy. Maybe I only take 5,000 steps the next day. My gut and intuition is that if it averages, your weekly average matters way more than hitting an exact number each day.
Yeah, I think that looking at like the annual average is a really good way to look at it. I like looking at, okay, over the last year, what was your average daily step count? I think that's a really good way to look at it. It's funny, with banking calories, I prefer using a week-to-week approach. I don't want to use like a monthly or annual approach with that, because then you could just have like ridiculous like binge days that don't make sense. With steps, I actually prefer to zoom out and look at your overall year, because that tells you what did your year look like from an activity perspective. Whereas if you do it from a week perspective, I know there are going to be some people out there who like, okay, I'll just sit on the couch and watch Netflix for 5 days and then spend 2 days and go outrageously insane. And that's when, aside from the potential negative health effects of that, but that's when you get injured. That's when you hurt yourself. That's what it doesn't make sense. So I think for me, yes, most important annual average steps per day is a really, really good way to look at it. But I also, the more I get into this and look at this stuff, I think it's really fucking important to move. Now, for example, I was really sick the other week during Thanksgiving week. There were a couple days where I got a couple hundred steps because I was sick in bed and I couldn't move, and that's fine. There are some days, like occasionally, where, just here with the family and we hang out, watch documentaries all day, we relax, like don't get that many steps. But that's like 1% of my year in terms of like that's not many days. I really think in terms of just overall circulation, overall, like we'll take mental and emotional health out of it, just purely physiological. I think getting up and moving, even if it's just stretching or whatever, but moving is so, it should be a daily practice, like brushing your teeth, like whatever it is. Like, I think it's better off being a daily practice as opposed to thinking of, I'm deliberately going to try and bank these. I do think, and this is all based up in my head, I think you'll get better health results if you move every day than if you try and bank them.
Well, it's interesting, two things. When I hear bank, I think like, oh, I can have some days that are only 5,000. I don't think, oh, I'm going to have days where I don't walk at all because I would feel terrible after like 2 of those in a row. And so it's interesting when you think that, and I assume you're right, you're the people guy, that if people, or at least a subset of people, hear that you can bank steps, it's, oh, cool. I'm not going to take any for 5 days. And then I'm going to do 25,000 on Saturday and 25,000 on Sunday to hit 50K for the week. Like, in my mind, it's like, why would anyone want to do that when you know that that's going to make you feel terrible?
Well, dude, I think just looking at population-based numbers.
No, I agree with you.
So many people are sedentary, getting less than 2,000 a day, like easy. Mm-hmm. Most people, I think, are sub 2,000. So if they hear they can bank it, then they'll be like, well, then I won't move at all. I'm going to get one of these electric wheelchairs, move around. Like, I'm not going to take any steps until until the weekend comes. And they're
It's
just
like 5 p.m. on Sunday, and they're like, okay, I have 7 hours to take 40,000 steps.
Bro, I know people would do that. I know for a fact.
It's fascinating. Once you internalize the fact, this is like, we've had this discussion, and you've been impressed with my ability to do this historically, is when I'm about to eat a food, think about how is this food going to make me feel 60 to 90 minutes from now?
Yeah, you're very good with that.
And like,
yeah.
I know that the 6 chocolate chip cookies are going to be like heroin on my tongue right now, but I know that I'm not going to feel as good as if I have the protein shake and banana or whatever, and can do that. Same thing with steps at this point, and it's probably way easier when you're at a adequate cardiovascular base, strength base, and a healthy body fat percentage. I think it's easier to make these decisions and like be more in tune with this. I just have fully internalized that movement leads to me feeling better. There's actually there's some research showing what a 20-minute walk does. We should link, you know what? Let's link this up. We're going to link this up in the show notes. I saw a recent thread on this, but some research backing it up. A 20-minute walk leads to like all these insane improvements in ability to focus immediately after, performance on like some cognitive tests immediately after. You know, they showed the brain scans of sedentary 20 minutes compared to just went on a 20-minute walk. The walk is just all lit up. There's so many benefits. And a lot of this was in the context of school and, recess. A lot of schools are taking away recess, or like we were talking this morning about this, like, oh, it's 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Like recess is canceled today. It's like, these kids are only getting 20 minutes a day. You're taking that away from them. Like it's so detrimental to not only their physical health, but also their ability to learn. Like that movement is so important.
Man, it's so funny. Like my wife and daughter and I, we all spent Saturday. We went on a long walk, went around the park, went out to buy to eat, and we were walking for a while. And it was just like, dude, walking outside is the best.
The best.
It's the best. It's like the fresh air, the movement. It's just like, it feels so good especially when the weather is like at least okay. It's the best. And man, we really need to make walking great again.